Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Weekend Recap on www.youtube.com. I'm your host, Paco. This is another special solo edition of the Weekend Recap brought to you by Adrian from Rabona TV. Couldn't be here today, but thank you to Adrian for sponsoring this video. Very kind of you. We get to move forward with the Weekend Recap as per usual. England. Chelsea hosted Tottenham and it wasn't much of a contest for most of the match. I mean, this Spurs side is very depleted, looking pretty listless. They should have been a man down when Lo Celso stomped Azpilicueta in the second half. It could have been a lot worse if that had happened. But to start, you love to see Olivier Giroud scoring to put Chelsea 1-0 up. His first Premier League goal in 325 days, nearly a year since he scored in the Prem, and it was a well-taken strike that he lashed into the bottom corner. Speaking of which, Marcos Alonso did exactly that after a sparkling Chelsea attacking move to make it 2-0. He nearly made it 3 when he rang a free kick off of the bar later. And like I said, Spurs were never really in this one in my opinion. I mean, Lamela was the catalyst to the late Rudiger own goal, but the 2-1 scoreline flattered Spurs a bit. Again, in my opinion, Paco from Rabona TV. Burnley continue to take names in the Premier League as the Worm Eaters are busting into the top 10 soon. And they're just a few points out of the top 6 now. Unbeaten in 5, they got their second win on the trot at home against Bournemouth. And Vidra scored again, his second in consecutive matches. And McNeil with the man of the match performance. A goal, an assist, and a shot off the woodwork. Think that's a hat trick somewhere in the world. City went away to Leicester and were left quite frustrated at the King Power Stadium. It was a typical City match where they have most of the ball, most of the opportunities, but their finishing this time wasn't up to their typical standard. Riyad Mahrez had a great match against his former team, setting up what was the winner from Gabriel Jesus in the 80th minute. Prior to that, however, another Sergio Aguero mistake from the penalty spot. He now has a 50% penalty record in the Premier League. It was a brutal one, so he's 3 for 6 this season. A bit of a reason to feel annoyed for the penalty being given, as there was a similar situation in the first half where the penalty was not given against City, but in the end, the football gods evened it all out with a Schmeichel save. 1-0, the final. On Sunday morning, an unconvincing start for Manchester United at Old Trafford would have had their fans a little worried until former keeper Ben Foster rushed out to trip Bruno, and he showed that he could potentially be the permanent PK taker for United, a troubled spot for them. We'll see. I mean, in my opinion, he should be, and he looked cool as you like in taking it, but we'll see what happens when Rashford returns. Watford scored a goal that was called back due to the ball coming into contact with Dawson's arm in the build-up, and then United pulled away. Bruno played Martial through. It looked like the opportunity had gone, and then he scooped it past Foster. Beautiful goal that was clawed back from the depths of wasted opportunities. The third goal was even better as Bruno played the ball inside to Greenwood and he smashed it off of the bar and in. My fave kind of goal. You know that. And hell, Ighalo even came close to scoring a fourth when he hit the post. 3-0 United. Bruno had his fingerprints all over this match. Wolves dealt with Norwich quite easily at Molineux with a 3-0 win. An 11-minute brace from Jota in the first half set the stage for Raul Jimenez to land the final blow in the second. And finally, Everton and Arsenal faced off at the Emirates, and some disaster class defending from David Luiz set up Calvert-Lewin for the acrobatic finish. But the young gun link-up is still alive and well for Arsenal. Bukayo Saka setting up Eddie Nketiah to equalize, and later David Luiz made up for his earlier mistake with a beautifully weighted through ball to Aubameyang to make it 2-1. But that lead didn't last the half as Richarlison bundled the ball over the line to make it 2-2. Oh man, was it going to be one of those days at the Emirates? Well, thankfully for the Gunners, Nicola Pepe found Aubameyang once again, and his bouncing header beat Pickford. Tough night for Pickford, man. Only 4 shots on target, 3 of them made it past him. Nearly a fourth, actually, as Nketiah's strike just dipped under the bar following a blunder from him. So 3-2 Arsenal, the final there. Not their best performance, to be honest, especially in the second half as Everton came close to equalizing on numerous occasions. But anyway, that win moves Arsenal up the table into 9th, and the race for the top 4 is very hot. Sheffield's draw means they move down to 7th, United in 5th. Everyone else still behind Liverpool by a long shot. Oh yeah, Liverpool play West Ham today. Poor West Ham had to play City and Liverpool. Ugh. In Italy, Napoli went away to basement boys Brescia, Triple Bs, on Friday night, and as expected, largely dictated the play because they weren't playing at the San Paolo. But it was Brescia's massive Jan Chancellor who put them ahead. That guy's terrifying. Have you ever seen this guy? Scary dude. Later, a handball gave Insigne the opportunity to level things, and he did so, expertly sending the keeper the wrong way. But forget about that, because Fabian Ruiz has found his hotspot. He scored a beauty the other week, and this was no different. A curling effort just inside the far post from outside of the box. 2-1 win there for Napoli, and they've won 4 of their last 5 now. That's more like it. Milan went away to the Artemio Franchi to take on a Fiorentina team that can't really find themselves. And with Ante Rebic scoring his 4th goal in 4 consecutive games, it looked like they would find a win. Even more so when Dalbert was sent off for the hosts. But in the 82nd, Patrick Cutrone won a penalty from a clumsy tackle by Romagnoli. Pulgar just barely snuck it past Begovic. 1-1 won the final, though Caceres or Vlahovic really should have won it for La Viola in like the 90th minute, right at the end there. 2 great opportunities. Juventus went away to the very worst team in the league, Spal, who were on a 4-match losing streak going into this. However, Juve, as you guys know, haven't really been as dominant as their place in the table would suggest these days. Yes, they are getting results, but doing so has been quite laborious for this team. Thankfully for them, they have a guy named Cristiano Ronaldo who is in Cristiano Ronaldo type form, scoring a goal per game, which he did this weekend as well. Cuadrado with the run down the right, a low cross into the box for Ronaldo to just direct it past the keeper. He came close to adding another in the second on a couple of occasions, but Berisha got a foot to it. On one of said occasions. Later, Ramsey, who had been silent all match, was picked out by Dybala, and Ramsey scooped it brilliantly over the Berisha. 2-0. Spal did score later from the penalty spot, but that was all they could muster. 2-1 for Juve. Now in Italy this weekend, 4 matches were postponed due to coronavirus cases in north-central Italy. Atalanta vs Sassuolo, Hellas Verona vs Cagliari, Torino vs Parma, and Inter vs Sampdoria were all postponed. But Genoa vs Lazio went ahead with Lazio's incredible 19-match unbeaten run on the line, and you'd expect them to roll over the 18th place Genoa, wouldn't you? But nothing is guaranteed in football, boys. Anything can happen, and that's why we love it. But Chiro still scored, and Lazio still won, as per the script, despite looking very unconvincing against the bottom feeders Genoa. 3-2 was the final as Lazio extend their unbeaten run to 20 matches. They've now scored 3 or more goals in 10 Serie A matches, which is more than any other team in the league, while Chiro has scored 27 goals now, which ties the record for the most goals after 25 match days, which spans back to 1959. A remarkable season, man. Let's hope they can keep it up and keep this title race going, you know? Keeping it interesting. Finally, their Roman rivals, AS Roma, who haven't been at it lately, snapped their 5-match winless run across all competitions with an emphatic win over Lecce. Yes, Lecce's 3-match winning streak is now snapped as they lost 4-0 to Fonseca's side. I mean, Roma really smashed this one, and it was about time as their attacking trio of Dzeko, Under, and Mkhitaryan all looked great on the night, with the Bosnian and Armenian each getting a goal and an assist. Also, shout out to Kolarov, one of my favorite players to watch. I don't know why. So, let's look at the standings, and you'll note that many teams have only played 24 matches, but Juve have a 1-point lead over Lazio, Napoli, and Milan have moved above Verona for the time being. Yeah, it's all a little weird to take into account as there are plenty of makeup matches to come. Well, some moving and shaking in La Liga this weekend. Let's start with Real Madrid, who went to the giant killer's den, Levante, and try as they might, Levante were down for a little bunker ball. I mean, to be expected, right? Sit deep and hope for the best. And thankfully for them, Real Madrid's front line consisted of an out-of-form Benzema, an Eden Hazard that's playing in just his 2nd match, I believe, since returning from injury, and Isco was pretty good, actually. Shout out Isco. By the way, unfortunately for Madrid, Hazard limped off with a hairline fracture of his ankle, or a distal fibula fracture. Terrible luck. The club hasn't said yet how long he'll be out for, but you'd imagine a good few weeks, maybe a couple of months. I don't know, though. I'm not a doctor. I'm just Paco. And Levante, they just bided their time, let Real Madrid blow some massive chances. There was at least 3 or 4 occasions when they should have scored, and all Levante needed was the second half of the match. After being passengers in the first, they had a string of decent opportunities in the second, including a goal out of nowhere from Jose Luis Morales, a smash from the left past a surprise Courtois, big mistake by the keeper. 1-0 the final. Levante handed Real Madrid their first loss in La Liga since October. Could Barcelona take advantage? We'll talk Barcelona later. Let the anticipation build a little bit. The future champs! Real Sociedad threw more hurt on Valencia, who are having a bit of a bauble these days, hey? But Valencia, they hardly showed up in the chance generation department, really looking brutal these days. Sociedad, they took the lead just 12 minutes in as Mikel Merino, the 23-year-old, scored his 4th goal of the season before the vet, Nacho Monreal, made it 2-0 in first half stoppage time. And finally, the pièce de résistance, the icing on the cake, or the cherry on top, was provided by Adnan Januzajinho just after the half. 3-0 the final. Someone call Valencia an ambulance to stop the bleeding. Winless in 5 matches now. 4 of those matches, losses. Okay, fine. Barcelona. They killed it, as you would expect of a club like Barcelona playing at home against a club like Eibar, who is dealing with the possibility of relegation. Barcelona smashed them 5-0 at the Camp Nou, with Lionel Messi doing a lot of the heavy lifting. After just 40 minutes, he had already scored a hat-trick. In the dying embers of the match, he scored a 4th, just because. And then after that, his buddy Arthur made it 5-0. Martin Braithwaite, Barcelona's new signing from Leganés that effectively ensures their relegation, did come onto the pitch in the 72nd minute, and you know what? He looked fine. Well, I mean, you'd expect him to have something about him, considering he was playing for the worst team in the league and had provided them with 60% of their goals. But he showed how pacey he can be. He has a solid touch, played a role in one of the goals. Promising stuff. Very interested to see how he does, how he develops there. And he has a lot of industry in him, a willingness to hustle, which I find Barcelona has lacked at times in the last couple of seasons. So he provides something different, which is refreshing to see. Atletico Madrid hosted Villarreal, looking to build off of that positive Liverpool result during a season where things have looked, I wouldn't say bleak, but not like the Atletico of old, really. So when Paco Alcácer scored after 15 minutes, a beautiful strike by the way, it was a bit of a false start for them. But before the half was up, Angel Correa, not the other one, tied it up with a neat finish, and in the second half he set up Koke for the eventual winner. João Felix came on as a sub in the 57th after being out injured for a long while, and to be honest, he looked quite good, very good on the ball, lots of energy, and capped it off with a goal, which he really needed for his confidence. It's been a tough start for him in Madrid, and a lot of people are turning on him already. So yeah, 3-1 win for Atletico over a strong Villarreal side. Good stuff, Simeone. Love it. That win takes them back up to 3rd, 10 points behind their rivals Real. Barcelona have a 2-point lead over Real after they've dropped points in their last 2 matches in a row, and Sevilla and Getafe neck and neck for the top 4. You guys are probably sick of hearing me talk about Erling Haaland, so let's get it out of the way. Borussia Dortmund went away to the very bad right now Werder Bremen. The same Bremen that bounced Dortmund from the Pokal, by the way. And Dortmund took care of business this time. It was business as usual, man. Jadon Sancho with an assist from Zagadou's corner. Wait, what? What am I saying? Jadon Sancho with an assist to Zagadou to open the match in the 52nd minute. Hakimi setting up Erling Haaland for his 12th goal in 8 appearances for Dortmund. It was another extremely intelligent goal, making that near post run and then the perfectly directed finish past the keeper. What a striker, man. He looks disinterested for long enough that he loses the defender, then darts to the near post instead of staying central and going for the cutback, and then he beats the keeper with that little flicked finish. Very nice. 2-0 win for Dortmund. Bayern Munich played on the Friday and had a bit of a scare at home against SC Paderborn, the 18th place team. Remember, there are only 18 teams in the Bundesliga, so they're the worst team. But Bayern have the brilliance of Serge Gnabry in their squad, among other mercurial talents, and it was Serge who opened the scoring in the 25th minute. Dennis Serbeni equalized in the 44th, but Gnabry set up Lewandowski. That was only his 24th goal after 23 Bundesliga appearances. What an absolute scrub. Eh, boys? La Mayo. Pesky Paderborn equalized again, however, but like I said, Gnabry's brilliance shone through, as it has done regularly lately. Thankfully, because he was a little inconsistent for a while, actually. So Gnabry set up the winner in the 88th minute for Lewandowski. Again, his 25th of the season after 23 matches. Come on, bro. 3-2 win for Bayern. They play Chelsea this week. A slip up for Borussia Mönchengladbach as they draw 1-1 at home against Schalke. No bueno, Marco Rosso. RB Leipzig, they looked great against Spurs midweek, and if not for Lloris, would have blown them out of the water. Well, they certainly blew Schalke out of the water this past Saturday, smashing them 5-0 away. Ouch. 5 different scorers with some familiar customers. Werner, Sabitzer scoring after just 1 minute. Emil Forsberg getting back into it with RB Leipzig, Angelino and Halstenberg. But the star of this match was Christopher Nkunku, Guy had 4 assists on the night. So a big performance from him. Leipzig, what a team they have. I really like how Red Bull builds their teams. You gotta hand it to them. They weren't the only 5-0 winners though, as Köln are still out there doing their thing. They don't let losses become a habit anymore, which is great for their survival. They went away to the shambolic Hertha Berlin and won 5-0. That's 2 away teams winning 5-0 in the Bundesliga on the same match day. And finally, Bayer Leverkusen's red-hot form continues. Besides their loss to Hoffenheim back on February 1st, they've won 8 of their last 9 matches. 2020 has been quite good to Leverkusen fans. This weekend, they beat Augsburg 2-0 with goals from Diaby and Amiri. Your boy Kai Havertz grabbing an assist as the revival continues for him in the second half of the season. And so Bayer Leverkusen are right in the mix, as you can see here. They've benefited from Schalke's inability to win matches. They've shot past them by 7 points now and are level with Gladbach, though Gladbach do have a match in hand. Dortmund, Leipzig, and Bayern all winning, all within 4 points of each other at the top. Would love if the title race was this tight towards the end of the season. That would be amazing. Bundesliga, the Danish Superliga. Let's see what's going on there. Well, the defending champions, FC Copenhagen, went away to Silkeborg and could only manage a draw. Silkeborg are, of course, the worst team in the league currently, and Copenhagen in general are having a tough time defending their title. That might be a stretch, but they're currently in second by a fair few points. You'll see how many at the end. FC Nordsjælland won their 3rd match in a row against Sønderjysk. I know I pronounced both of those wrong. There's probably going to be a lot of mispronounced things, so apologies there. But Nordsjælland won 2-1 with a second half comeback. FC Midtjylland. A team close to my heart from back in the day when I had a FIFA channel and I did a My Player series with them. Ooh. Well, Midtjylland won 2-0 away to relegation candidates Hobro. Schwartz getting a goal and an assist despite coming on as a sub. Great form from him, second in the goal scoring standings currently. And Brøndby lost 3-2 away to AAB, meaning they have dropped down to 4th. And AGF has a chance to really put some separation between the top 3 and the chasing pack if they win their 2 matches in hand. Midtjylland, the runaway leaders at the moment. Not quite runaway, but a 9-point lead over Copenhagen. Nice little title race going on in Denmark. Go on, Midtjylland. Do it. This is the end of the video, everyone. If you enjoyed it, I'm super happy to hear that. If you want more from me, Paco, then be sure to hit subscribe. Otherwise, you're good to go. I won't be assigning any homework this week like I did last week, so you guys are lucky. All right? Thanks for watching. My name is Paco. I love ya. Take care.